You remember that time when you went to the theater and you sat down knowing that you were going to watch a Star Wars movie? That feeling, that magical aura that you got as soon as that opening crawl began. The music, the visuals, everything about it just took you away from reality, transported you into this imaginary world in a far, far galaxy. Those were the days where you actually felt something. Joy, magic, a sense of adventure. That is what Star Wars used to be. That is what Star Wars used to give us. That is the reason why we would go and watch those films. Unfortunately now, under Disney, Star Wars has become a brand, an IP, that no longer has the magic it once had. It's become tarnished. It has become overpopulated with underwhelming quality within this franchise. I've been someone that has defended Star Wars for a long, long time. Even under Disney, there was hope. Maybe false hope, but there was hope. There was glimmer. There was light at the end of the tunnel. I could feel myself coming out of the dark side into the light, becoming the Jedi I thought I was supposed to be. The defender, the protector of Star Wars. But now, it's become near impossible for me to stand among the light side and defend Disney Star Wars. It's to the point where I have now lost my faith in what Star Wars used to be. I no longer believe that I get the aura, the magic, or anything like that from Star Wars currently, right now, that I used to get. It has nothing to do with my age. It has nothing to do with the political stuff. It simply comes down to Disney don't know what they're doing with Star Wars. Now, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into what my problems are. Why have I lost faith with Star Wars right now? Let me know your thoughts down below. Are you in the same boat as me? Maybe you were there earlier than me. I've seen some people say that they were. I'm very interested. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get into this video right now. So, you remember the day where we watched the original trilogy for the very first time. I grew up with the original trilogy. It was something my dad showed me, something that got me into film and TV, that made me love it so much. The joy that it brought, something that we did together. Then you got the prequels, man. I'm not saying the prequels are like the best thing since sliced bread. There are problems in The Phantom Menace. There are problems in Attack of the Clones. There is definitely problems. George Lucas is not perfect. He did not make these perfect 6 movies. I'm telling you that now. I think Revenge of the Sith is just brilliant. I want the 4-hour cut. Never going to get it, but I would love to see it. I love Revenge of the Sith. I love the original trilogy. So, you know, and then we got Clone Wars as well, which was really, really good. This animated show, and you're like, okay, now we're starting to cook. Then George sold Lucasfilm to Disney in 2012, I believe. Now, I remember the first time this happened, and you were thinking to yourself, okay, Disney are buying Lucasfilm now. They're going to have the rights to Star Wars. Now, you got to remember, at the time, Disney was kind of cooking, man. They had Marvel. Marvel was cooking. We just had the Avengers. So you could already see, okay, Disney have Marvel here. They're making a lot of money. They're churning out some good quality stuff there. You know, the Captain America movies. You know, they're pumping out Iron Man. They're pumping out this stuff. Like, there is thing. And then it continued. So you're thinking I was thinking to myself, okay, you know what? I'm going to give them a chance. I believe they can do it. If they're doing this with Marvel, we got an Avengers movie that I never thought I was going to ever see in my whole entire life. Imagine what they could do with the Star Wars universe. The universe that is so big, that doesn't need to be connected, intertwined with everything. It's an endless blank sheet of paper where you can tell stories from anywhere, any time frame. So the hope was there. We got Rebels, which I think Rebels is quite good as well. I really liked Rebels, so I was like, you know what? Okay, I see what they're doing here. Then we got Force Awakens. Now, Force Awakens, I don't mind. I thought, look, for the start of the sequel trilogy, I was like, okay, you have my attention. This is good enough to where I'm like, okay, where are we moving now? Well, I'm interested to see where we're going to move forward. We got Rogue One, which was brilliant. Really liked it. Elevated even more by Andor that we got. Gareth Edwards knew what he was doing with that film, and it was great. Then we get into the stuff of Solo, which, look, I'm going to be honest. I think Solo is a good space adventure film, just not a very good Star Wars film. Then we got The Last Jedi. Arguably the most divisive film in the whole entire Star Wars franchise. Rian Johnson comes in, and look, I'm someone that does not like The Last Jedi. I think it's bottom 2 of Star Wars. Just like, I really don't like it at all. I don't agree with what he did. Now, I like Rian Johnson. Man has made 2 fantastic Knives Out films and has made Looper, a sci-fi masterpiece, a movie that I adore, that is one of my favorite sci-fi movies of all time and one of my favorite movies of all time. But I didn't agree with what he did. And then we have The Rise of Skywalker, which I think universally we all agree is not a good film. Now, let's talk about the sequel trilogy here. This is where the problems started to arise within Disney and Disney's Star Wars itself. Kathleen Kennedy comes in, wants to make a sequel trilogy. I have no issue with making a sequel trilogy. I want to see a sequel trilogy. I want to see it. Now, we're all sitting there thinking, okay, are they going to continue on with Luke, Leia, Han? Where are we going to go with this story? They throw that all away to focus on Rey and Kylo Ren, this new generation. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm happy with that. This is the issue with the sequel trilogy. They came in with zero plan. Zero idea what they were going to do. They make Force Awakens. Okay, people like that. You know what? That's a great start. Ryan, do you want to come in here? I know you haven't seen this film or anything like that. How about you just write the second one here, please? Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. Write the second one. Oh, crap. That's the most divisive film we've ever done. All right, JJ, we need you to come back in here, please, mate. We need you to write the third movie here, but I need you to retcon some of this movie here, The Last Jedi. I need you to retcon here so we can please these people and please these people. Put it together. Oh, and by the way, we want Palpatine to come back as well. We feel like we need Palpatine to do this. The sequel trilogy does not flow at all. Like, say what you want about the prequel trilogy. At least the prequel trilogy runs as one story. It flows as one story. You see the point, the start point, the end point, and it makes sense. The sequel trilogy, the fact that they had no idea what they were doing, they did not plan ahead, they just went in reactionary after every movie, it just got worse and worse and worse. Now, I don't blame JJ for it, I don't blame Rian Johnson for it, I blame Kathleen Kennedy. She is the one that oversees it all. She's the one that's got to come up with the plan and go, this is the point where we're starting, this is the point where I want to get to. We need to come as a collective to find a way to write this story so it's coherent and that it follows one direction. Alright, we need to do that. She did not do that. Kevin Feige has been doing this at Marvel for a very long time, where he has overseen everything. He has a story, he has an idea where he wants to go. This is what you're allowed to do, this one, no, you're not allowed to do. Within that boundary, you can do whatever you want, but please don't overstep this. This is how it needs to go. It needs to all flow. Kathleen Kennedy did not do any of that. She's just throwing out, here you go, you do this, you do that. Then we get into the Solo stuff, where she fires a director. They part ways when they've freaking shot the movie. And then she's like, nah, we're going to redo it. And then it goes double budget and then doesn't make anything at the box office because, one, no one asked for a Solo movie. And two, we're just like, what's going on here? You're just throwing this away. So the sequel trilogy was already the first red flags to like, okay, Kathleen Kennedy might not be the person to lead Star Wars into the future because she made an error here by not having a plan for the sequel trilogy. But then you're like, okay, look, everyone makes a mistake. Maybe she's learnt from this and she's not going to do the same mistake. Well, we get new announcements on different Star Wars projects constantly. Seems like every year we get, this is coming, Rogue Squadron's coming, this Star Wars, Taika Waititi's Star Wars is coming, this is coming, this is coming. Kathleen Kennedy falls out with director. Kathleen Kennedy falls out with writer. Kathleen Kennedy falls out with director. We're changing course here. We're not doing this. Creative differences, this and that. Problem after problem. Rogue Squadron's not coming out anymore. We've announced it, but now we're shelving it. We're shelving this. We're shelving that. We're not doing anything. This is a problem. She keeps falling out with creative people and these projects never happen. And it's a shame because you're like, okay, well, I'm excited for this now. No, it's not happening anymore. Now we get to the Disney Plus stuff. Now this is where a major issue comes because they have now decided to churn out as much content as they can rather than actually giving us quality content. Now, the biggest thing is when it comes to this stuff, which is what the MCU is now dealing with, is it's not about quantity, it's about quality. The MCU was thriving when it had high quality. No one complained that it's too much because it was quality after quality after quality. Yes, they would have a stinker here and there, but they had built the trust with the fandom, with the audience, where you're kind of like, you know what? That's fine. I'll give you a pass for that one. You just gave me 5, 8 out of 10s in a row. That's fine. I'll let this 5, 4 out of 10 slide. It's okay. And then they go back to creating quality again. You're like, look, see, I know what they're getting. But now they're at the point as well where they're churning out quantity over quality, and you see the project starting to dip in box office, starting to dip in audience. Everyone's starting to question, is this the right direction? Is this what they're doing? Because they chose quantity over quality. Star Wars is now in that same boat right now, and probably has been for a while. So, they decide we're going to do some TV shows of Star Wars, which I'm like, okay, you know what? That's a cool idea. I wonder what they're going to do. Well, they have churned out a lot of stuff since then. This is just a little list of what they actually have done when it comes to Disney Plus. So, we've had Andor, Ahsoka, Kenobi, Book of Boba Fett, Bad Batch, The Mandalorian, Visions, Tales, and The Acolyte. We've had that so far come out. Now, out of those shows, Andor to me is just spectacular. This is the one thing they did get right, is Andor. To me, it is top tier Star Wars. One of the best Star Wars projects I have seen since the original trilogy. It is so good. I really hope they don't butcher season 2, because look, I remember we got Book of Boba Fett, which I think is it's not that great. Kenobi has its moments, but overall not that great. Ahsoka has its moments, again not that great. Bad Batch, gave up on it, just did not care for it at all. Then you have Tales, cool concept, poor execution. Now you have The Acolyte, which is just a whole nother conversation of them just completely and utterly destroying the legacy of Star Wars and what Star Wars is all about. So you have them all happening. Then you have Visions, which I really like. Look, I'm a guy that loves anime, so I thought anime and Star Wars coming together, creating unique stories, that worked. And I really liked Visions. I thought that was something different, unique, and I want to see more of Visions. I think that's one thing they got right, because it's basically like, here, we're going to get these people to do it from this sort of anime background. They can tell whatever story they want, because they have no bearing on anything else. And I like that. Now, after we got all this stuff, we're sitting there like, oh, man, Star Wars is kind of draining me. Mandalorian. Loved the first 2 seasons of Mandalorian. I was hyped. I was like, they started with that. I was like, if this is what's going to happen with the shows, this is going to be great. This is going to be great. Season 3. What the hell happened with season 3? That was I felt like I was watching a completely different show. That was just, I'm sitting there scratching my head like, what has happened here? Why are we all of a sudden gone from these 2 good seasons to this absolute garbage? Like, it was unrecognizable. It really was. So you had that. Killed. Like, we had things killing our hope. Kenobi, Boba Fett, killing our hope. Andor comes along. And you're sitting there like, oh, yes. We've gotten away from the mold here of 6 episodes that are 30 minutes long. That does not work. If you're gonna do that, just make a freaking movie. We get Andor. 12 episodes. 45+ minute long episodes. As people say, Star Wars for adults. Something different. Something darker. Something showing us the underground side. The stuff behind the scenes. No Jedi. No Sith. The rebels. Growing up from the ground up to fight the Empire. proper storytelling, proper character development, proper sets, looking fantastic, looking like Star Wars, feeling like Star Wars. And you're sitting to yourself and you're thinking, wow, this is the best thing I've seen since the original trilogy. This is what I'm talking about. This is the quality that we need. If this is what they're doing now, imagine what the Acolyte's going to be. Imagine what Ahsoka's going to be. Imagine what the Mandalorian Season 3 is going to be. It's going to be so good. I can't wait. My hope, my faith in Star Wars is being rewarded. It's being restored. Kathleen Kennedy is finally realized her errors. Here we go. She's putting John and Dave in control, letting them run with Star Wars, letting them do what they want, letting them control everything. She's just sitting down in the background. You're thinking, yes, here we go. Season 3 of Mandalorian comes along. It's okay. It's okay. They had 2 good seasons. They had Andor. It's just one knife in the back. It's all good. It's all good. Ahsoka comes along. Okay, it's alright. It's alright. Like I said, Andor's there. It's going to save us. It's going to save us. The Acolyte comes along. Alright, that's the 3rd time you've stabbed me in the back now. You've destroyed it. You've destroyed all my faith now. I don't believe you're making the same mistakes over and over and over again. You're giving us 6-episode series, 30 minutes long. Not enough story. You're sacrificing quality storytelling to just be like, hey, look, it's Ahsoka. Look who it is. It's this. Oh, look, you get stabbed by a lightsaber. Means nothing anymore. You can survive it. You're just destroying every little bit of faith, every little bit of hope that I had. Now, Star Wars is being something that I have looked forward to my whole entire life. It's something that every time it gets announced, all right, mark it on the calendar. Cannot wait. Countdown. Here we go. You know, the Acolyte I was really excited for. Thinking, here we go. Finally, we're getting something from the Sith point of view. We're sitting there like, yes, we're going to see how dark the Sith are. We're going to see what the Sith really do. How they navigate in the underworld, building themselves up underneath the Jedi's nose without them knowing. This is going to be so good. Something like that. The Acolyte comes around. I'm so excited for it. I'm like, yes, let's go. First 3 episodes. The fuck is this shit? We now have the Force thread. The Force is the thread. We have witches who can suddenly go in and use the Force to create not just 1 life, 2 lives, and put them into someone. Impregnate someone like that. Yet we have Sith Lords. We have the Night Sisters who could not do any of that. But yet some random witches can. We're at that point now. And now I'm at a point where the only thing I actually care about right now and have faith in is Andor Season 2. That is the only thing I care about because I have Andor Season 1, which I absolutely loved and thought was perfection. Masterpiece. That is the only thing I'm looking forward to in Star Wars, and obviously Visions if we get a Season 3 of that. Outside of that, I don't care. It's at the point now where if a Star Wars movie gets announced, I'm at the point where I feel like I'll believe it when I see it, because we've had how many announcements since Rise of Skywalker that we're going to get a movie, and we haven't got one? I'll believe it when I see it. And if it does get announced, and it is actually happening, it's not going to be in my top 10 most anticipated films. Star Wars was always 1. But now it's not going to be there because I just don't feel anything. I don't feel the magic. Disney has now destroyed the magic that I felt for Star Wars. And it's unfortunate because it's a franchise I love and that I want to support all the time. I've stood there, tried to defend it, tried to defend Boba Fett, tried to defend Kenobi, trying to be like, yo, it's okay, Disney are going to do it. You were all right. Disney have now officially destroyed all my faith in it. And I don't want them to touch Old Republic. I've always wanted them to do Old Republic, but now don't touch it. Don't ruin that for me. That's the last thing I have left that I'm holding on to that hasn't been touched. And I don't want it to be touched. I don't want Darth Bane to be in this. They won't do it justice. I don't want Revan to be in here because they won't do it justice. I don't want any of that. Leave it alone. So, let me know what you guys think of Star Wars right now. How do you guys feel? Have you guys lost faith? Did you lose it earlier? Smash your thoughts down in the comment section below. Smash that like button. Click subscribe. And I'll see you guys next video. Until then, stay safe and peace out.